today's episode, I'm going to show you how you can turn this into this. Stick around, it's going to be a good plant video. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fishroom. Today, we're finally going to get to planting this thing. Unfortunately, I did take myself up to PetSmart to try and get some Amazon swords. They usually have them, but they were wiped out. So, I don't normally like to do this when I have a plant where I want it at, but I'm going to steal some plants from some other tanks to get this project done. I really want to see this full of water. And as a finished product, and with these mature Amazon swords and the other plants I'm going to take, it'll really give this a mature feel immediately. So what I'm thinking is maybe 3 down this longer side, 2 on this side. Maybe a nice shoot. I want to put a red tiger lotus. Maybe 2 in the center there, center-ish, and some crypt started about, and we'll just see where we get. But all of these are going to be stolen or borrowed, I guess you could say, from some of my other tanks. So anyway, let's get to it. So for the 2 main Amazon swords, I'm going to steal these 2 out of the Beischer tank. I'm sure they won't be too happy about it. My guy likes to hide behind them. But when they do have them in, we'll get new ones and put them in there. This isn't one of my favorite tanks, but I do like this tank a lot. So yeah, we'll get those replaced. Might take some of these crypts out of here too. And down below, we have a lonely crypt down here. Not really doing much. So we'll probably steal that one. Oh, maybe there's 2 down there. Oh, maybe there's 3. I guess we'll find out when we get in there. And then upstairs in the Tetra 75, there are the red tiger lotus, and there are some more crypts that are starting to creep into the carpet area that I want to get cleaned up a bit, and we can take those. I won't be missing them in there. Also, behind all the Rotala and Bacopa, there's this big wall of Amazon swords, and we're going to steal a couple out of there as well. there's some back there that won't be missed that I kind of bunched up because a bunch came in together. So we'll grab those out of there. This tank's looking pretty good, huh? So before I really do anything here, I'm going to get some water in this tank because it'll be easier to plant in. We don't want to worry about the plants drying out, and there's nothing in here really that I would benefit from planting dry. So let's get this tank filled up. Now we are going to fill this tank extremely slowly as to not stir up as much as possible. Because if I didn't mention before, this sand can be really dirty, and this tank is likely going to become very murky very quick. But for how much money you save, I think it's worth it. The water changes, or having to use something like AquaClear to get your water cleared up, I think it's well worth it. So anyway, we're going to fill this up. It's just going to take a while because we're just going to dribble it in there, especially at first. And then we'll come back to this. Yeah, you could see just how slow we're filling it. Just a dribble, slowly soaking into the sand. And this is going to take a while, but it's going to be worth it. Now, we're starting to get a little somewhere filling this tank. It's probably been about an hour already. We will turn up the flow here in a minute just to speed things along. But one thing I wanted to mention is when you use a sand like this or dirty substrate, you end up with all this scum on the surface. Now you could use a surface skimmer or something which would help and make this a little easier, but I don't have one. And so what I typically do is I'll take a bucket and a cup and just kind of see if we can get you a better view on here. Just kind of skim that stuff off, dump it in a bucket, and then repeat that until at least most of it is gone. So we're going to do that now. And I'll come back when I've gotten it all, because this is a slow and tedious process and it's going to take a while. So that process being done, as you can see, nice and clear on the top of the water. Easy peasy. Oh, let's wait for this to finish filling up. In the meantime, I'll probably go steal some plants, get a little jump start on this. So now we're at this point. We're not quite full to the top. We got a few inches. We could top that off, but we'll most likely be doing a water change after we get things planted. Once we plant, we're going to stir up a bunch of stuff. It's going to become very cloudy, and yeah, we'll need to do a water change at that point. But as I've mentioned before, that when you do a dirt aquarium like this, you'll see this brown line. I believe that's leaching out of the soil that we put in there, and that's why it's so important to do a lot of water changes until you're not seeing that anymore. You know, even if every day you come and suck that brown stuff out. It's seems to be pretty dense and just sits on the bottom. So if you take your siphon hose along the bottom out of there, you can suck that out pretty quick. But I do believe if you were to leave that, it would lead to a lot of algae. So doing your water changes, especially when doing it this method, daily water changes at that, is going to be really key to your success here. Now with that being said, I have pulled the plants from all the tanks, and I went to stick them in the my quarantine tank just to float them there so they stay wet and don't dry out while we were filling. And I came across quite a surprise. Now there is no light on this tank, so it is going to be a bit hard to tell. I'll pull you off this tripod here. You can see I threw the plants in here, and I sometimes throw plants in here. There is enough light to keep them alive, but no light itself on the tank. And I threw these plants in here, and I noticed something moving around. And there, man, I should maybe have to clean the glass first. But there are fry everywhere. I have no idea how many there are in here, but there is a lot. Now, I had planned on scaping this tank, emptying it out, cleaning it up, and scaping it, but now with all these fry in here, I'm gonna leave it for now. Just let it be. Let these grow out. Now I've been throwing plants in here for multiple tanks. I threw some moss in here, so I thought maybe it's from that. That came out of the 120. Could be anything in there. But then I also pulled out this Brazilian pennywort out of the rainbow tank, and it makes more sense that these are probably Marasai rainbow, if I had to guess. Now they are teeny tiny. I'm sorry about the glare, you're not really seeing much. I don't know what I can do to block this light. And maybe we'll revisit this soon. And there's one right there. There's a few right there. Maybe we'll get this cleaned up and have a closer look in here in a little bit at the end of the video, if you want to stick around for that. But let's get these plants out of here very carefully without dragging any of these guys along with it, and get back to this tank. Now unfortunately I was only able to get 4 Amazon swords that I was comfortable with taking out of there. Now while that will probably be enough, I just don't like the idea of having an even number on each side. When aquascaping, it's really best to have odd numbers of anything you really add. Even numbers, even numbers, straight lines, symmetry, things of that nature aren't really found in nature. So we'll see how it looks. Maybe swing another one if I can find one I want to take. But for now, this is what we're going to work with. And these Amazon swords I pulled out of the 75, a lot bigger than I thought they were now that they're out of the water. So we'll see how that looks. See what we think about that. And I don't know, I guess we'll go from there. So on top of that, I pulled 4 or 5 crypts out of the 75 upstairs, and one aquarium lily. Name is escaping me. But anyway, let's get to planting. So we'll start over in this corner here. Spin, spin, spin. And we'll take this big Amazon sword and we'll start there. Definitely did not make my sand cap big enough in that area. But we can touch that up. No problem. I think that's sufficient for there. Try to bury these roots a little better. Take this one off that comes hanging out. We don't need all those roots. It'll form its own root system. And like I said, clouded the water up real good. So we're going to do the same thing over on this other side with this other big one. Make sure we don't get that veil in there because we don't want that. Pull some of these roots off. Also, trimming some of the roots off at the end will stimulate new growth. We'll also take some of these uglier, not so healthy leaves off. Yeah, let's see, that's good enough. Get her in. Let's see, that's a good spot right there. Now, in this situation, your tweezers are going to be of no use to you. You just got to muscle this thing down in there. Well, these are the two smaller ones that I've pulled, and I'm going to use the bigger one on this side. And these should be quite a bit easier to plant. I feel like that might be too close. Yeah, it's better. Now we'll move over to this side, plant this other small one. I think so far so good. Now I am thinking this one lily is just not going to be enough. So maybe we'll set this one a little bit off to the side here. We want to give it plenty of room, front to back, side to side. But I do have more that I can grab. And maybe put another one closer here. Another one to that left side. Yeah, we'll see. Let's go ahead and dart some of these crypts around. But I will have to go and find my tweezers first. So right now we have 6 crypts. I'm gonna pull more, but this is what we're gonna start with. Now these are crypt undulata red. And we're just gonna find some good homes for these. Kind of want to put something taller over in this far corner, just to kind of frame it all in, I guess you would say. So I think I'm going to stick this one right in here. I think that's a good place for it. I think we'll stick this little one right up top here. I think we'll stick this one right here on the back side of this wood. You know, that one might not be, maybe that one's not an undulata red. Now on that tank up there I did have Crypt Tropica, so that might be what it is. Color looks a little different. But no worries, we're going to switch over to this other side. Yeah, there we go. And we got 3 more. Same thing, I think this bigger one will stick right down in here. a smaller one here. I'm going to stick right in this area. Now we're going to go get some more plants. Now we got a few more crypts, 5 to be exact. And we're gonna find some good places for these. This one here is going to go right down in the corner down here. Being a little stubborn here. Remember, there's not a lot to plant in over here. Stay right there. All right. Let's move back to this other side. And turn a little bit this way. Alright. Now we're going to take this big guy, he's pretty tall. And like I said, put it in this corner over here. Trim a little bit of these roots off. And hopefully that's sufficient. We'll take this bigger one right down in this little crevice. Then this one's going to go out here on the end. Alright, well, we found another aquarium lily. Well, this is a dwarf aquarium lily. This is a, how does that name always escape me? Anyway, let's get these in, fill this area out a little more. Then I think we're at the point, almost at the point, where we can do a water change. We'll get rid of these air bubbles that are on the front that are obstructing our view. And we can have a look at this thing. Red tiger lotus. Dang it. Red tiger lotus. I think we're going to move this one off to the side a little more. This one can go in about here. And I think we'll put this little dwarf aquarium lily kind of in between them, but in the back. Now, one last thing I want to do is, if you have some areas of driftwood where you have some cut ends that don't look very natural, kind of like where all these are bunched up here, one thing you can do is to put a plant in there to kind of conceal that. And usually for something like that, Anubias works really good. So I think I have a couple up here that have been just kind of floating. Yeah, these will do good. And those will just help to conceal that. And pull some of these roots off. To find a way to wedge this down in here. And over time you might have to finagle that a little bit to get it to stay down in there. Usually eventually you'll get to a point where it stays. Now if you do something on one side, typically you want to do it on the other. So I think we're going to come over here and maybe see if we can. The rest don't look bad. This one is kind of ugly. It's gonna work. Yeah, maybe something like that'll work out. That was a Java fern, which was stuck to something, so I figured might as well stick the little guy in there. See what she does. Now I think we're going to do a big water change. Clean this glass, we'll end up skimming the top again, and then we'll take another look at it. lot of organics coming out of that soil there. But overall, other than that, the tank looks good. Now I am really glad I went with the Amazon swords. It's exactly the look I was going for. Except, I think it's looking a little too symmetrical with the 2 Amazon swords on each side and then these red tiger lotus right in the center. So I think I am going to have to switch that up. It's just too symmetrical. It's not natural looking enough. So I think I will take this far tiger lotus and the dwarf aquarium lily that's behind it that you can't really see, and I'm going to move them to where this Amazon sword is, and then move this one to this side, and we'll have 3 on this side, 1 on this side, and then hopefully maybe that'll make it look a little more natural. Because right now it's just not working for me. It's too symmetrical. But anyway, let's go get the siphon and we'll get this out of here. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Now with this tank I went for a little bit of a minimalist look. Not overly detailed, overly planted. Just simple Amazon swords. I do think we will be switching out these plants, but we're not going to do it right now. We're going to get this video out. But I hope you liked it. If you enjoy these videos, if you're not already, please consider subscribing. Hit that like button and notification bell so you don't miss anything. And as always, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.
I'm finally facing it all, fearless. Burning the bridge that keeps us. I'm here and I'm feeling fearless. Exaggerated, that's what you assume. The story's over now, I must conclude. I am conflicted, watching where I step still, hanging in the balance, not the life I want to live. I want to take it all, standing tall. Fear I weighed the person you are.